Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I am doing a reading using the Tarot of the Egyptians. Now, you may notice that I've made a big mess on this table, and that is because these cards are so large, I cannot shuffle them with my tiny little hands. So I'm doing what we call a messy shuffle, and I have been using the messy shuffle for a number of years. Just because I just love the randomness of getting all the cards slid around and turned around, and you just kind of get your love in all of the cards. So Tarot of the Egyptians is actually not a tarot deck. It's more of an oracle deck. And so there's no real suits to it. There's a major arcana that they use from the Waite-Smith Tarot. But the rest of it is all very tied in with the author's other work of Words of the Shaman and Wisdom of the Pharaohs. So I'm just going to kind of scoot all these back together. Been giving them a little bit of love. These are not omnidirectional cards. There's no reversals written for this deck, so as we go along, I'll just put everything to its upright position. We can also look at the reversals as if it was maybe an emphasis. So, hey, pay attention to this card. Or it could be a weakening of the strength of the card. Doing this today. All right, let's see what wisdom wants to come through. We'll do a 3-card reading. We'll do Blocks Healing Outcome. And first off, we got a blocks. Shadow and light falls into the block. Love and freedom is our healing. Ooh, I like this. Oh, outcome, the devil. That's very interesting. Now, all of these cards were inverted when I first pulled them, so that's interesting. So we have shadow and light, love and freedom, and the devil. Almost feels like you could put this guy in the middle, get the devil on one side, you've got love and freedom on the other side. Love and freedom definitely as a healing process. So let's look and see what the guidebook says, since this doesn't follow any specific, I hate to use the word dogma, any prescription of meaning other than what it's got. So 77. Okay, this is the final card in the deck, card 77. There can be no evolution of consciousness without confronting darkness. So there's a sense of confronting one's inner shadow, the darkness and light, the shadow and light. Confronting one's shadow. Let's look at love and freedom, card 38. Evolution of consciousness. To love a child is to teach them to be free. And that's interesting. As a parent, to love a child is to teach them to be free. I found as a parent, some of what I needed to teach my children to be free is the circle of which they could be free in. You can do everything in this circle, but here's your boundary. You can have fun right here, but don't go too far. And moderation is key in all relationships, especially when you're trying to teach children, because children, they like to explore, and you want them to do that safely. So, love and freedom, shadow and light. Yeah, like thinking of a developmental path, confronting shadow, there has been no greater lesson in my life than being a parent. And you do have to confront your own shadows when you're a parent. You do have to ask yourself, what do I want to teach this little person? How do I want to teach them that? How do I want to do it in a way that's constructive to where they feel the freedom of having their little happy place, so to speak, but keep them safe and also keep them in a framework of being a socially acceptable individual, being a productive individual. You have to give them a little bit of structure. And you have to give them freedom within that structure. It's a difficult balance, but learning how to do that taught me a lot about myself. And I can remember very distinctly, particularly with my younger child, having a conversation with an irate 3-year-old thinking, I really got to change my tactics with this kid because he is way too much like me. Yeah, that was a big realization that day. So yeah, spiritual growth through confronting one's inner self. Maybe some of the lesser savory things, sometimes you wind up passing on something that your parents taught you and then have, well, how does that apply to today? Or how does that even apply to this situation? Or is that even right in any situation? Because our parents certainly aren't perfect and we're not perfect. Our kids aren't perfect, although I like to think some parts of them are because they're my kids. Anyway, but as a spiritual growth aspect, not everybody's a parent. It was a growth experience for me, but there are places where people step into mentorship roles, either informally or formally teaching people, helping other people, being in some sort of position of influence or even a position of service can be influential to the people that you're helping. So in a broader context, loving those that need help. Let's think about children as being people. Let's take it out of the child context. Anybody who needs help, anybody who needs your wisdom, anybody who needs your assistance. Doing that with love is certainly a healing process. It is a way for you to get out of yourself and look back at yourself and figure out where your shadows and your light is. So if you're getting stuck on your shadow and light, that means it's time to get out of yourself and get a new perspective. And you do that through serving other people, either teacher, mentor. I even think of people who are customer service, which can be a dog of a job. I've done that before for years. And the people you help, though, maybe most of them kind of gloss by, yeah, well, you're supposed to help me, so you should. But some people actually will dig in and appreciate that. And those are the people you make a difference for. You kind of live for the people you make a difference for. We all want to have a sense of significance in our lives. And having that perspective of other people helps us to understand ourselves and our significance to those people. So there's a symbiosis there. None of us are alone. None of us are working in isolation. We are all connected to the other people in our world and our environment. We influence just by being present. All right, outcome, the devil, card 15. I'm really interested to see what this is going to say as far as an oracle. I know what it says for tarot, but for an oracle, temptation, material attachments, illusions. Facing your chains is the first step towards freedom. So we're continuing with that idea of understanding yourself. Facing your chains is facing your shadows and your light. Particularly your shadows would be your chains. But when you face them, and we learn about ourselves through other people. We learn about ourselves through community. So where in community are you getting any kind of feedback? And I'm not saying that we should live our lives for other people. No, because you can have people in your environment that are just going to suck the life out of you. I mean, there are people like that in the world, but they're not as prevalent as perhaps we might think from reading relationship articles on Microsoft Bing. Because the extreme examples get highlighted in the entertainment media. So as far as the wisdom of this oracle, the wisdom of this reading, I find it very interesting and very appropriate that we can't find our solutions in isolation. We need a community of people to interact with, of people to love, of people to serve in relationships, in work relationships, personal relationships. We find ourselves, we find out who we are as a reflection of the people we're around. You are the sum of the people that are around you. It's a nice, almost cliche phrase, but it's true. It's cliche because it's true. So I will leave you this note of, may you find yourself, but may you do it through love, and do it in such a way that you realize your significance and what's important about you as you are part of a greater community. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.